Welcome to Thread of Change, where we uncover the moments that shake the world, challenge perceptions, and ignite conversations that matter. Today, we dive into a story that blends celebrity, confrontation, and quiet power, an event that millions witnessed, yet few truly understood. It wasn't a scandal. It wasn't a fight. It was something far more revealing, a moment of raw human truth that unfolded under the unforgiving spotlight of live television. The cameras rolled. The audience laughed. But one man, known more for his silence than his speeches, delivered a response that stopped everything and changed the narrative in a single heartbeat. That man was Keanu Reeves. It started innocently enough, as these things often do. The set was buzzing with energy, the crowd roaring with anticipation. A beloved late-night host, known for his razor-sharp wit and unfiltered humor, introduced Keanu Reeves with a smirk that hinted at something more than friendly banter. Reeves walked on with his trademark humility, slightly shy, almost awkward, dressed not to impress but to exist comfortably. The cheers filled the room, but there was tension behind the smiles. The host leaned in, eyes gleaming, and began to prod. Not with questions of substance, but jabs cloaked in humor. Comments about Reeves' acting, his demeanor, even his intelligence. The crowd laughed, egged on by the charisma of the host. But Reeves didn't flinch. He didn't smile to appease, nor did he bite back. He sat, absorbing each jab like a monk in meditation. And yet, in his silence, there was resistance. A refusal to engage on terms set by someone else. The host, sensing the lack of reaction, pushed harder. He made jokes about Reeves' personal losses, his tragic past, the stories of heartbreak and solitude that define the man behind the movie star. The laughter turned uncomfortable. For a second, even the crowd seemed to sense the line had been crossed. Yet the host, caught in the momentum of performance, didn't stop. It was then that Keanu spoke, not loudly, not with anger, but with a clarity that made the room fall silent. He looked at the host, not with contempt, but with something much more disarming. Compassion. "You know," he said, his voice steady, "sometimes the people who are the quietest are the ones who carry the most noise inside." There was no applause, not yet. Just breathlessness. He didn't defend himself. He didn't need to. He spoke not to win an argument, but to remind everyone in that room, and the millions watching, what it means to be human. "We all go through things," he continued. "Pain doesn't make you weak. It just makes you real. And maybe the world could use more of that." The host blinked. The smirk faded. For a moment, he was no longer in control of the stage. What followed wasn't a comeback. It wasn't a mic drop. It was a recalibration. The crowd, once laughing, now listened. Some shifted in their seats, unsure of how to process what they'd just seen. Reeves didn't revel in the shift. He didn't gloat. He simply leaned back, allowing the weight of his words to settle. And in that silence, something extraordinary happened. The host, known for never missing a beat, stumbled. He tried to pivot, to regain the rhythm of the show. But the energy had changed. Keanu's stillness had redefined the room. It was no longer about entertainment. It was about truth. Vulnerability. Integrity. And in a world that often rewards noise, here was a man who commanded presence through quiet strength. Viewers at home flooded social media. Not with outrage, but with awe. That, one post read, wasn't just an interview. That was a masterclass in grace. Clips of the moment went viral within hours. People weren't just sharing it, they were reflecting on it. In offices, classrooms, and homes, the conversation shifted. It wasn't about who was right or wrong. It was about the impact of empathy, the power of restraint, and the rare courage it takes to remain grounded when provoked. Reeves had reminded the world of something we often forget in our rush to speak louder, faster, funnier, that dignity is often quiet. That the strongest responses are not roars, but whispers. This wasn't the first time Keanu had shown such depth, but it was perhaps the most visible. On a platform designed for spectacle, he offered substance. And that contrast, that unexpected moment of sincerity, was what made the world pause. His past, the tragedies, the losses, the isolation, weren't badges of victimhood, but layers of wisdom. And while many celebrities play roles on and off the screen, Reeves simply is authentic, complex, and often misunderstood. The host would later apologize off-air, reportedly shaken by how deeply the moment had resonated. But Reeves held no grudge. He never does. That's part of what makes him so compelling. He's not here to win. He's here to be. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson of all. In an age where we are encouraged to clap back, to dominate, to destroy our critics, Keanu Reeves shows us another way. One rooted in compassion, in awareness, in self-control. He doesn't perform humility. He lives it. And in doing so, he holds up a mirror to the rest of us. Who are we when faced with disrespect? How do we respond when someone tries to reduce us to a punchline? Keanu's answer is clear: not through defense, but through presence. Not through retaliation, but through understanding. And that, more than any movie role or viral moment, is what makes him unforgettable. So, the next time you hear someone speak with cruelty disguised as comedy, think of this moment. Think of the man who refused to flinch. Who answered mockery with mindfulness. And remember that silence, when rooted in strength, can be louder than any laugh track. In a world that too often confuses cynicism with intelligence, Keanu Reeves remains a beacon of quiet wisdom. And whether or not the cameras are rolling, he continues to teach us what it means to be deeply, unapologetically human. That is the real headline. That is the true story. And that is why the world, for one quiet, powerful moment, was completely, utterly silent.